welcome to the Etobicoke Lakeshore Podcast. This is not a coincidental thing. You might think to yourself, wait, there's the Etobicoke Lakeshore Press, and that's in my neighborhood. Well, now we're the podcast in your neighborhood. Hi, I'm Mike. There's Roger Tumminieri.
Hey, Mike. How are you?
I think I said your name badly today.
No, that was lovely.
Did I do it okay?
Great Italian pronunciation.
Oh, molto bene. So anyway, having said that, that's the most Italian I think I know that is suitable for a family show.
Perfect.
Welcome to the podcast again. If you haven't listened to the show before and you're in the neighborhood, go back in time and listen to the previous episodes. There's a nice introductory episode. We discuss what's in the magazine, but more than anything, we meet people from the neighborhood in the way of business, community leaders, and find out more about South Etobicoke and the Lakeshore area. Tell us a little bit out of the gate about the publication in general.
Sure. Well, the publication started in 2015, so we're going into our 5th year of business.
Nice.
And the whole concept is to promote local businesses and shining a light on local businesses, the people in particular behind these businesses that don't always get promoted in, I think, the way that they should. I think that these people are risk takers. I think that they've taken this leap of faith, and I think there's a lot of magic in understanding what drove or inspired these people to start these local businesses.
Yeah, you're right. There's stories, each and every one of them,
Yes.
and they're brave people to do it. And then many of them, on top of that, are very connected in the community as well to charities and events, and they've got families and in the schools and all that sort of stuff. So we are all part of the same community. This publication kind of summarizes some of the highlights of it very nicely.
Thank you. And I was just having a conversation downstairs with some folks, and they mentioned that, South Etobicoke has a really different kind of feel to it. And Long Branch specifically has a real kind of tightly knit, almost a village type of community feel that is unlike anything around in Toronto.
Well, we try to replicate that in many communities, but this actually has it organically.
I was going to say organically. Yep, absolutely. And part of why I'm trying to do this is to put my thumb on the pulse of the neighborhood and try to understand why that is the case. And I think it all boils down to the people in the neighborhood, and specifically the people who are running businesses, many of whom live in the neighborhood as well.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well.
Yeah.
I'm an outsider essentially, although I run my business here and love to be here, spend most of the hours in my week in this neighborhood. I do live someplace else, and I can see the contrast between these two communities where mine is, first of all, it seems like many, many more people where I live, although that can't be possible. This is a more metro area. Yet down here, the festivals, the functions, the events, and the community itself, much tighter.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's very cool. All right, we'll get on with today's show. Today, of course, we have a guest, and many of the episodes that you'll hear ongoing will have people that we're featuring that are right here in this area.
Yes.
So today will be no exception, and we'll get to our guest. But first, if you don't mind, I want to play the game.
Let's play.
Let's play Flipping Through the Magazine, and we do this. It's almost like a little quiz for Roger. Every week, we go through, I flip through the magazine, I stop randomly on a page, and we have
Test me.
we have a discussion
I'm being tested
about what's on that page. So here we go again. I'll flip through it. All right, and let's see. Oh, very interesting indeed. Maybe you could tell me a little bit about what's on page 20, and I will give you a hint.
Okay.
Adrian and Andrea, Toronto Real Estate. What's this?
Yes,
what are they all about? Did I say it wrong?
No, you didn't. You said it perfectly. Adrian Coimbra and Andrea Turpin are a husband and wife real estate team. They live in Mimico, and they love Mimico. And they have joined forces with me, and they promote, from a different perspective, businesses in Mimico that you wouldn't otherwise stumble upon at a retail level.
Okay.
These are folks that are running home-based businesses, and they're really shining a light on these folks who are, in some capacity, these are their side hustles, and for other folks, it's their main gig. Right. But like I said, you're not necessarily going to see their business on Royal York or on Lakeshore. Like, they don't necessarily have a retail front. But Adrian and Andrea, like I said, They live in Mimico. They
know
love the
place.
neighborhood, and
Yeah.
I think they're doing a wonderful job of shining a light on the neighborhood and their community through the magazine.
You know what's really interesting is you said that this community really is it's made up of the people, not the places.
Yeah.
They're putting the right people in this place by the sounds of things.
Absolutely.
So that's nice.
Yeah.
They're community builders. All right, let's do another one if you don't mind.
Sure.
I'm going to stay on the same page.
Okay.
Just because it caught my attention. I don't know if you've tried to get a new family doctor recently. It's not always the
It's not
easiest.
easy. It's not.
It is not easy. And, well, here's an opportunity right in our very own neighborhood to get in on the ground floor, as it were, with a doctor that you could make your family doctor. Tell me about Mimico Medical.
Oh, fantastic. And ironic, too, because we're going to be featuring Mimico Medical on our April edition cover, which happens to be all about Mimico. So we're going to dedicate an entire edition to the neighborhood of Mimico. But in particular, Dr. Codsey started this clinic. He's a local guy from Mimico. And it's kind of an all-in-one type of a clinic. And,
What does that mean?
Like, if you've walked into a medical clinic, I mean, they can be kind of sterile, and I know that's the case for clinics. But,
you hope,
right?
But I know what you're saying. They can feel almost a little too clinical. Yeah.
Very clinical.
Yeah.
But this one doesn't. It feels very personable. And Lisa Meff, who sort of heads up the clinic, I think they've built a really nice, inviting, comfortable culture there that I'm hoping we can that will shine through the publication when we feature them in April.
Right. Now, this sounds, like I say, I think it's an opportunity, and that we'll find out more about them in an upcoming issue and episode. I think is pretty impressive. And I have been through that experience. Being a father of 3 kids over the years, a retiring doctor, I mean, it sent us into a tizzy. To have somebody opening their doors to new patients all the time, right, locally.
Locally, it's very important.
Very important indeed. All right, both of those on page 20. Let's get on with the show. And by the way, I will just point out on the cover of the magazine that we just read from, you'll find Christine Hogarth, the MPP for Etobicoke Lakeshore, and that's the issue that we're talking about.
Yes, our February edition.
There. But there is a new edition on the way.
Yes.
And that must mean a new cover. It must mean a new story and a new feature. And today's guest is all of those and more wrapped into one. Tell me about today's guest.
Amanda Kirkland is our guest today. She is the owner of Blu Concierge. She'll go into more detail about that. But she is also a new Long Branch resident.
Amanda Kirkland, welcome to the studio over here at the Pod Plant. Delighted to have you in.
I'm happy to be here.
Now, we all had a little chat. This is what happens before you do a show. We all get to know each other for a few minutes, and we'll get to it in greater length. But what Amanda told me before the show blew my mind about what she did for
pretty
her
cool.
own. Yeah. But it is that service that she offers among many others that we're going to talk about today. That just one amazing story. So I can assure you out of the gate, Amanda doesn't sit around. She's
busy.
She gets things happening.
She's efficient.
So tell us, Amanda, a little bit about before you moved into the neighborhood. Tell us about where you were situated before and what you've been up to leading up to this.
I've been working in real estate development for the last 25 plus years. Most recently, I've spent 18 years working on 6 condo towers and 500 townhouses in Liberty Village for one particular builder.
That's got to be one of Toronto's biggest developments in recent history.
It's been amazing. I moved in there 15 years ago. I was one of the first residents in the new part, so I've seen it grow. I've worked down there for 18 years. And there's been big changes. Yeah,
it certainly has. And so tell us a little bit about what that world was like for you in the development of all of this and some of the stuff that you do. You have expertise that kind of, it's got to be very unique in your industry, the experience that you have.
It was a small builder that I worked for. So I actually got my hands on more than most people do working for a large developer with various corporate levels and numbers of VPs, et cetera. I got involved from the beginning of the design stages once the buildings were approved. So that started with amenity space design, suite design, selecting finishes, jumping over to the sales and marketing side of things. I coordinated and oversaw all the sales and marketing campaigns. I basically was the conduit as the builder between the brokers for signing 3,000 plus agreements of purchase and sale over the last number of years.
Yeah. Wow.
And then the building starts getting built and we start to occupy the building. I oversee the customer service, taking care of purchasers moving in, their 30-day deficiencies, their 1-year deficiencies. We turn the buildings over to the condo corps, and that's sort of in a scrambled nutshell. I have my hands in every bit of the pie, which I have been very lucky to be able to do.
Yeah, that's a rare experience. I think it's often, I mean, it sounds like it was a load of work, but it's also an experience I don't think many people have.
You did that for how long?
The last 15 years.
15 years. And Liberty Village is all but built.
Yeah, it's just about done.
It's
for all intents and purposes.
Work would be winding down.
Work is
for
winding
you.
down.
Yeah.
Did anybody refer to you as Lady Liberty by any chance? You lived there. You basically started the whole
My
thing.
entire identity has been tied to Liberty Village, and it's time for a change.
So what precipitated the move to Long Branch?
I just happened on a development in South Etobicoke and walked in, and it was situated in the middle of a residential neighborhood, but it offered the same design, for lack of a better word, as a condominium. And I put in an offer immediately.
Oh.
And that was about 4 months ago. And now I wake up in the morning to squirrels chasing each other in the trees, the dog spotting 2 chickens in the backyard of a house in the park 10 steps from my front door. And
just a whole different sort of
It
lifestyle.
sounds like a different world.
I've said to Roger, and it's a bit cliche, but I found liberty leaving Liberty Village. Not to say anything bad about Liberty Village,
No, but I mean,
it's peace, it's tranquility.
Yeah.
I know you were talking about it being a real community here. From the first morning going out to get a coffee, I just noticed how much friendlier people
Really?
are.
Yeah.
And people just say hi. Even coming into this sort of working establishment when I met you last week was very different than going into co-working spaces in downtown Toronto where everybody's into their own thing.
They keep to themselves. They want to get to their cubicle. No, there's a real there's a desire.
The retail places, I mean, the local coffee shop, the No Frills, the LCBO, I just find a completely different feeling from the people, working there and there. I mean, some couple in No Frills 2 days ago, he grabbed the no-name can of mayonnaise away from his wife or girlfriend, and it's like, no, you go for the real stuff. And I piped up, I agree with you. And we ended up having a whole back and forth. That doesn't happen in the Metro and Liberty Village.
Right. Yeah. No, there is definitely a feeling.
It's more real. Pardon the mayonnaise pun.
Well done. You know what? That was a good joke. I mean, never mind. Forget it. I didn't want to even bring us there. But you're not that far away from Liberty Village being here, yet at the same time, there is a big difference in attitude. There's a more established age group in this community, whereas there's a more youthful, self-focused, a
lot of millennials,
and they're terrified. They're all getting fired next week. They all work 50 hours a day. It's a very different environment than we are, than somebody who's established in a home in an established neighborhood. But I think also maybe part of that was that you'd spent your life living, working, and being the person that anybody could get in touch with when they needed to, with regard to where they live, which happened to be your home as well.
Well, I had to keep my head down a lot of the time for that reason, because builders are not always the good guys.
No, and even if they've done a good job, they aren't perceived as such.
No.
I think by the consumer. So now you've got all this wild experience. Liberty Village is winding down. You've moved to a new neighborhood, and you've got a new business. Tell us about that.
Well, with my current job winding down, I had to figure out what I wanted to do next, whether I stayed in the industry or branched out and did something else. I enjoy, for all intents and purposes, working for myself, not being overseen. I started to think about what things I enjoyed doing, and some of them were as simple as running around doing errands, organizing things, shopping, researching. And to me, some of that was just killing time with my trusty 12-year-old Yorkie sidekick in the car beside me. And I must have come across something online at one point about concierge services or personal concierge services. And I started looking at what services they offered, and it aligned with all the things that I happen to enjoy doing and do for myself a lot of the time. So I started to think, are there legs to this where maybe I can offer those services? I'm out doing those things anyway for me, so why not?
And you've already filtered it down to the best that you can find in those various categories where people might need the assistance. This thing, and now hold on. Let's stop everything for 1 second. There's a catalyst in all of this, I think, that everybody needs to know. You didn't just move to town. You moved to town, took possession in November, and what happened over the next week?
I did an 11-day demo reno. I got the keys November 21st. November 22nd, the demo started. By the afternoon of the 22nd, Habitat for Humanity had picked up the contents of the house that were reusable, the kitchen, the appliances, etc. And Monday the 25th, the flooring started going in, tiles the next day. Anyway, long and short of it, by December 4th, when I was ready to move in, the place was 85% completed.
In 11 days?
In 11 days.
Okay, so that might require somebody doing some planning. So essentially, this is a really good example. You did this for yourself, but if somebody needed to make the move, and it may not happen in 11 days, you may need it done over 45 or over a 90-day period. What a pain. Cleaning out the old house, getting everything organized for real estate, there's so many.
It wasn't fun, but it was fun. It was exciting.
But it's something that you enjoy doing that 90% of us find terrifying.
Yes.
Would you have called Habitat for Humanity and got them there in the time that you needed them?
I don't know if I even would have thought about it.
I don't know that I would have.
It sounds like all the things that you're focusing on with Blu Concierge are things that I hate to do.
Yeah, I hate to say that.
And I think a lot of people find these things uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But you like them.
I love them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really, okay, maybe if you have a contractor, and I've had this before, and they're talking to me, and I'm hearing, wah, 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 $5,000. And then I hear that. You know what I mean? Like, I hear the price, and I don't even know if I've been consulted properly on it. Even if they brought you into the process of planning.
As a guidance or advisor.
Yeah, because you do that research. You have the knowledge base of building materials and the
Absolutely.
options. Yeah, that's why you're able to do it in 11 days.
Holy smokes.
Look at you and I just in amazement with this. But
Well, I did a whole sort of 11-day Instagram, day 1, day 2, day 3, and there were some shocked people.
Oh, I bet.
Who just were amazed.
But think about it. Okay, say from my perspective, you got a family, 2 kids, 2 dogs.
You run a business.
Right? So we don't have 30 days or 60 days to demo and completely redesign a home. So that's a great service. 11 days.
Well, you're talking a much bigger home, but
still,
11 days.
A lot of families
it was a 2-story condo.
It's
So
not a small place. A lot of families live in smaller
But
places.
it was a good test of your own services because essentially, you're right. Even if it was, okay, I need to start thinking about what I want to do to reno.
Yeah, where do you start?
Like, I don't know.
I wouldn't know.
I mean, my wife does. She gets it. Okay, but I don't. And even if she does get it and I don't, a third person in the process to try and organize our thoughts, show us the options that are out there from building and design and decor and, from STEM
and know
to
all
gadget.
the elements and pieces that need to go into it.
And to top it off, to know the companies to call and the people
Yes.
directly there to
Right.
do it.
Good point.
Forget it. I'm out of the game. We really do need you.
Well, I mean, one of the services is it's not taking on large scale renovations, but small renovations, be it
a
bathroom, be it your closets all fitted with organizers.
What? You can
and
do that?
I have someone that can do that.
And so you would put all that together?
Yes.
Okay.
I would arrange somebody to come in and do the measurements, then get the quote. You could do it yourself, but I know the right questions to ask.
Do you know what I find? When you get the right consultant, the right concierge, or the right expert, they have the connectivity to get you a better deal. What you pay them, you're going to save twice in savings of time and money.
It'll get done, and there'll be hands-on somebody watching and overseeing it for you.
Yeah. Who has a relationship with the person doing it.
Yes.
That is a really remarkable thing, actually. And I think as the way that the business world of renovation and home care, there's another thing. I have no idea how often my filter, when I change the filter in my furnace, when it's not blowing properly. Just dumb things like that. If there was somebody to come and do a home check and a survey on what needs done in my place every 6 months and a schedule made out to do it, and they could actually handle that for me,
Yep.
I'm out.
Yep.
They can do it.
Mm-hmm.
People are just too busy.
Yeah.
They're caught up in all the other everyday things that they need to get done, and sometimes I think these are overlooked.
I really think this is the business of the century. I'm not even kidding.
Well, you're making people's lives easier.
Yeah.
What
But
about decluttering? Do you do that?
About making people's lives easier and that they have a lot to do. I mean, yes, that is true, but part of this is, the Saturday morning that you need to spend grocery shopping and going to the dry cleaner and doing various errands, assign the task to Blu Concierge for a small fee, and you have that morning to actually go for brunch with the kids or
quality of
skating
life.
It's to give you back hours in your day to spend with spend with family and friends.
And it's hard to put a price on that. It's hard to put a price on the value of time and the value of time with your family.
I'll tell you when you value it the most, when you're almost out of it. So get as much of it now as you can at almost any price. I do believe that because, the moments you can, especially if you have kids, they're going to go to university. They're going to go get married. They are going to grow up. And those precious moments that you have now, well, you could spend all the money in the world taking them to this and that. And all you're doing is dropping them off at all of these different places where you could be spending quality time with them. And that's important. That's the most valuable thing in life.
Well, you know what it's like to go shopping for groceries with a 7-year-old and a about 2-year-old.
I've been in situations
it's an adventure.
Where I've taken
you
hostages.
need to wear a helmet.
and now that at the checkout aisles, they have adult and child teasers candies and toys and goodies.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you, I think that this is a wonderful idea. The range of services. Let me see if I got this right. Let me see if I can do it. Okay, see if I pitch your business here. Whether it's planning, a renovation, a demo, revamping your home in any way, whether it's finding the right appliances, whether it's doing the research on what you need to do with your home, whether it's home maintenance or day-to-day concierge services, Blu Concierge. Have I done that right? What did I miss in that mix?
You've missed
so much stuff, Mike.
So much stuff. So much that Roger told me I offered too much.
Well, you know what?
But then I looked at it again and I thought, well, this is pretty fantastic because you're casting a wide net, and I think that
I am casting a wide net.
People will say, they'll put their hand up and say, look, I need help with XYZ.
Yes.
Great.
And you
start
can
your
choose
relationship
a la
off.
carte.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I do think that a lot of it is that because, okay, you're doing the grocery shopping, but also, you know what? Can you organize the meds for my dad based on his prescriptions coming in?
It is. It's shopping, running errands,
Yeah.
waiting services at your home when you're given a window of 4 hours and you need to either be at work or doing something else.
You gotta love the 4-hour window.
We'll wait for
We'll be there tomorrow.
your
sometime.
Rogers contractor or your Reliance repairman. Event planning, birthday parties, dinner parties.
I was going to say, leading up to a wedding, having somebody help you with some of the details on that, or somebody's surprise birthday.
There are big companies out there to do that sort of planning, but this is more one-on-one, hands-on, personal relationship working with somebody.
It's more niche, more boutique.
I think I would trust somebody that I dealt with who was just focused on my wedding more than...
That wasn't a big business, for example.
I actually have that feeling that's how I would approach it. So all of these things, and then to top it off, just having spent a little bit of time with you, and Roger has as well, you're just a pragmatic, thoughtful person that I think people could really make use of your time to make their life better. Where can people find out more about Blu Concierge?
We have a website, bluconcierge.ca. There is no E on the blue, so BLU.
Why BLU?
My original company was Blu Consulting, Inc., when I was heavily involved in the building industry, and Blu actually stood for Builders Love Us.
I bet they do in this business too, because at least you're helping organize their clients a little bit. You're a good buffer.
I do get things done.
Yeah, I get that impression. And you know what? When you want stuff done, you need somebody who does that reliably for you. Where there are other concierge services that are very direct on, the entertainment industry and travel and things like that, home concierge seems to be like a really great idea. I wish you great success.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, listen, Roger, if you don't mind, I would like you for my birthday to get me a few hours with Blu Concierge. There's things I need to get done.
We'll make it happen.
I appreciate that, buddy. And as long as we're handing out info, I will ask you to subscribe to the podcast. You'll meet other great people along the way, just like you did today in Amanda Kirkland from Blu Concierge. Where can people get the magazine online? I like to look at it that way.
You do like it online.
Yeah.
Well, they can get it at Etobicoke Lakeshore Press.com.
I like the way that it flips like a real magazine. It's very
cool.
Very Harry Potter-esque. Yeah. And if people wanted to find out more, Roger, about getting involved in the magazine, they might be an expert or potentially the next cover of the magazine. Where can they do that?
Send me an email at Etobicoke Lakeshore Press at gmail.com.
Roger, thank you for having me in on your show.
Thank you, Mike.
We'll catch you next time on Etobicoke Lakeshore Podcast. Subscribe and tell a friend. Bye.